Hey everyone, and welcome back. Here talking about Babylon 5 Reboot again. And I'm going to start off firstly with an apology that in the last video that I put up, I mixed it up a bit, included some sci-fi ranty stuff, and then went on to talk about the B5 pilot news. And rightfully so, one of you commented that I shouldn't do that, he was basically saying he came here for the B5 stuff, didn't really care about the other stuff. And you know what? Totally agree. So I'm not going to do that again. What I've realized is that this little channel of mine, and I used to joke about it non-stop, has started to reach out to some people, especially since I've started talking about the Babylon 5 stuff. And so I've got to treat it accordingly. It's great that there are a number of you out there who are excited, just like me, about Babylon 5 and it coming back. And yeah, so I will keep the Babylon 5 related videos purely about Babylon 5 because we need more of that in the world, I think, and we need to get as much excitement and enthusiasm about this show as we can so that it endures once again. So anyway, so on that I will treat my videos accordingly, and I hope that any of you, if you have any concerns or don't like how I'm doing this, write a comment, let me know. I'm very open to the constructive criticism now that I'm seemingly reaching out to more of you. And I'm just someone who's reading a lot of stuff on the internet, and that's how this information's coming up, but I do realize that not everyone has the same sources of information or is able to see those all the time, and you still see it now that people are still only just finding out about the reboot and may not have all the details available. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to kind of go as my neighbor starts mowing his lawn. But what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to go kind of back to the beginning and go through what we officially know about the reboot so far, what's been released, what's out there. I've seen some videos that sort of go into the theories and have said some things that I don't remember or recall reading, so maybe there is more out there, or maybe people are maybe people have access to other info. Now certainly I'm not subscribed to the Patreon that JMS has put together, and I do believe that even if I was, I wouldn't be able to share anything. Like, it wouldn't be fair if I did share anything that I gained from there anyway. So all this is available on the internet. JMS tweets quite a lot, so I've managed to see a lot of those important tweets. And yeah, so what I'm going to cover here comes from the B5 Books email list website. And it's probably nothing new to most of you, but I still think it's worth covering. It is a statement from J. Michael Straczynski, and it came out pretty much when the B5 reboot was officially announced. So his statement on it, I'll read it through, but you know, the network, so this is referring to the CW network, understands the uniqueness of Babylon 5, is giving JMS a great deal of latitude with the storytelling. As noted, this is a reboot from the ground up, rather than a continuation, and it's for several reasons. Heraclitus wrote that you cannot step in the same river twice, for the river has changed, and you have changed. And in the years since B5, JMS has done a ton of other shows and movies, adding an equal number of tools to his toolbox, all of which he can bring to bear on one singular question. If he were creating Babylon 5 today, for the first time, knowing what he knows now as a writer, what would it look like? And how would it use all the storytelling tools and technological resources available in 2021 that were not on hand then? How can it be used to reflect the world in which we live and the questions we are asking and confronting every day? Fans regularly point out how prescient the show was and is of our current world. It would be fun to take a shot at looking further down the road. So he'll not be retelling the same story in the same way because of what Heraclitus said about the river. There would be no fun and there'd be no surprises. It's better to go the way of Westworld or Battlestar Galactica, where you take the original elements that are evergreens and put them in a blender with a ton of new challenging ideas to create something fresh yet familiar. To those asking why not do a continuation, for a network series like this, it can't be done because over half the cast are still stubbornly on the other side of the rim. And how do you tell a continuing story of our original Londo without an original Veer or Jakar? How do you tell Sheridan's story without Delenn? Or the story of B5 without Franklin, Garibaldi, or Zack? The original Babylon 5 was ridiculously innovative, the first to use CGI ships and characters, and among the very first to shoot widescreen with a vigorous 5.1 sound mix. Most of all, for the first time, Babylon 5 introduced viewers accustomed to episodic television to the concept of a 5-year arc, with a pre-planned beginning, middle, and end, and creating a brand new paradigm for TV storytelling that has subsequently become the norm. That tradition for innovation will continue in this new iteration, and JMS hopes to create additional new forms of storytelling that will further push the TV medium to the edge of what's possible. He wants to conclude by saying how supportive and enthusiastic that everyone at the CW has been with being with this project, and they understand the unique position Babylon 5 occupies both in television and with its legions of fans. They're doing everything they can to ensure the maximum in creative freedom, a new story that will bring in new viewers, and honouring all that has come before. And of course there is the statement, this is from the 19th of January, that the pilot script has been submitted to the CW network. As soon as they approve, production will begin, and this timing of lines up with JMS's previous prediction with a pilot shoot for early spring, so that'll be autumn there for the southern hemisphere, so I'm guessing that's for March, and a full production starting midsummer with an air date for fall 2022. So how exciting is that? By the end of this year, we could have new Babylon 5 on our TVs. I mean, no, if that's not exciting, I don't know what is. I mean, yay. Anyway, so that's just covering a few of those statements. Something else that I pulled up was a description about the series, and I don't know how binding this is or how legitimate this is, but this comes from Variety online, and so the new iteration of the sci-fi series is described as a from-the-ground-up reboot. And then it goes on to this paragraph where it describes that in the series, John Sheridan, an Earth Force officer with a mysterious background, is assigned to Babylon 5, a 5-mile-long space station in neutral space, a port of call for travelers, smugglers, corporate explorers, and alien diplomats at a time of uneasy peace and the constant threat of war. His arrival triggers a destiny beyond anything he could have imagined, as an exploratory Earth company accidentally triggers a conflict with a civilization a million years ahead of us, putting Sheridan and the rest of the B5 crew in the line of fire as the last best hope for the survival of the human race. Now, just in that paragraph there are a lot of familiar themes and from the original show. Obviously, John Sheridan is Earth Force career. I don't know what's mysterious about his background. That's something different that they could be looking at. Babylon 5 continues to be a 5-mile-long space station in neutral space. The port of call bit is very similar. The fact that his arrival triggers a destiny beyond anything is kind of interesting. You know, is this the one person who can change the universe kind of thing? It's a different take in any case. The exploratory Earth company, alluding to IPX, if you know, from the original, and the civilization a million years ahead of us is at the shadows. I mean, and this is the thing. What are we looking at that's going to come out of the new series? Are we going to have those similar beats? Are we still going to have the Vorlons and the Shadows conflict? Can you have Babylon 5 without that? Or how else do you approach it? So there's all these questions, and I think I did ask in the last one, what will the pilot cover? The Gathering was about bringing all the governments together, and the Vorlons were the last to come, and there was the assassination attempt on Kosh, blah blah blah. Will the new pilot be that, or will it be different? In today's TV age, I don't think The Gathering would be a very successful pilot. I think it would have to be something a little bit more high stakes, you you know, possibly end on a cliffhanger kind of thing due to how our TV shows are done these days. I think of The Expanse, for example, where you have all that character introduction and build up and world building, and then it ends on that climactic destruction of the main ship that you think is the main ship anyway at the time. No spoilers, I hope. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where this goes, how it unfolds, and I just can't wait. I can't wait to do the comparisons. I can't wait to get excited about what's new and what's familiar, and yeah, and to just discuss this all. So anyway, I think I've rambled enough for this video, and there's plenty more of it to come. I hope that some of you new viewers will join me on this and continue to stay on board and fire away in the comments what you're looking forward to. I think we're well past the point of the negative things that were being said early on, and I know that the concerns will remain, that we don't want this to be watered down or a slap in the face to the original. We will always have the original, and I hope that this newfound revival, I hope this revival for the reboot will allow the network to go back and, you know, pretty up the original for us, re-release it, give us some new merch, whatever. Yeah, let's just see where this goes. And just exciting. Alright, that's enough. I'll talk to you very soon, and thanks for watching.